The second method we're going to talk about when it comes to factoring is by grouping. In order to use this method, you have to have four terms at least. One, two, three, four. You could have more, but you can't have three terms. You got to have four terms or five or six or whatever. And they have to have some common factors in a couple of them. So, like these two right here, you can see have a U for a common factor, and they have a 2 for a common factor. These two over here have a 5 for a common factor. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of like this process up above two times. All right. Now, I hesitate to show like that much work on this. So maybe what I'll do is, I mean, you can see the factors right here, right? They're 2, U, and V, right? The factors here, maybe it's a little harder to see. You see 6 is 2 times 3, right? So 2, 3, and U. Okay, so what do these two have in common? They have a 2, right? So I underlined that in red, didn't I, up above? So the 2 is in common, and the U is in common. So we got a U factor right here in common. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that 2U out by the distributive property. So I'm going to put down 2U times, now what would be left for this first one right here? A V, right? What would be left for the second one over here? The 3. So I think I did that in green on the notes up above. So let's do that. Let's put in green what would be left. So the V is here, the 3 is still here, right? The 2 and the U got factored out to the front by the distributive property. So I'm going to put down plus the 3, right? Okay, so what I've just done is I took the first two terms and I just focused on those. Okay, so I'm focusing on the first two. Focus here first. Okay, then we're going to focus here. So this is going to be our second effort at using the distributive property right over here. So I'm going to look at factors. So I got a 5 and a V. There's nothing else to factor here, but this 15 could be factored as 3 times 5, right? So what's in common? Well, the 5 is in common. There's nothing else in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down plus 5. So a 5 is going to get factored out. I didn't really want that in red. So let's go back. Let's put it down in black here. So I get 5. And then what's left is the V. And let's see what's left over here, a 3. So I'm going to put plus 3. I hope I'm making this clear. This is a little tricky, this little factor by grouping. And so I hope I'm doing okay with this for you. So we've got the 5 that's getting factored out of these two terms, and we get the V plus 3. Now, here's another thing that has to occur if factor by grouping is going to be useful, is that you have to end up with two identical factors between the two terms. So you notice we got a V plus 3 and a V plus 3. So I'm going to use the distributive property again. This is going to seem a little weird, but I'm going to put V plus 3. Oh, geez, that's not coming out so good. Let me try again. V plus 3. And then what would be left of my first term would be a 2U. Put it in green here. So this 2U is right here, right? And this 5 is going to be in the second term. So what I do next is I put down 2U plus 5. Okay, so I'm factoring out. I'm using the distributive property here kind of several times, right? So this V plus 3 is what's getting distributed out to the front. And then what would be left of these factors here would be the 2U. So I got my 2U. And what would be left of these two factors, when I say two factors, I'm saying 5 and V plus 3. Well, the 5 would be left. So I put the 5 down right here. I want you right now to try problem number 2 on McGraw-Hill. And just to kind of, refresh your memory here, you're going over to McGraw-Hill, you're opening up the 11.5 factor in the GCF, and you're opening up the assignment. Okay, I'm going to pull it over onto this screen here in just a second. You put problem number 1 on the whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. Sorry, I didn't have this open before the thing started. So here we go. You put problem number 1 on the whiteboard, right? And so you're going to go and you're going to select, the factors in here. How did you factor it on the whiteboard? And you're going to check your answer. Then I want you to put problem number 2 back up on the whiteboard with your partner. And here it is right here. Okay. So let's see here if I can tile this a little bit. And I'll write down here problem number 2. Okay. So on problem number 2, we're going to have FG minus 5G. You're welcome to put the video on pause and just go to the whiteboard right now. Thanks, everybody. And then when you come back, I'll have this one solved for you, problem number 2, and we're going to talk about it in class. Thanks.